It's time for the ultimate support tier list. I'll be ranking 169 heroes from SSS all the way down to E. In this tier list, I'll be focusing on all the new support heroes, heroes who got support refines, and heroes who had major shifts from last year's tier list. If I don't cover an older hero you want to hear about, check out last year's video, where I may have gone over them. I will not be including any dancers as they would take up the majority of the entire tier list. Instead, they will be getting their own tier list video in the future. Also, I will be not adding heroes based off just support skills, or I would have to add like every flying hero in the game because of Guidance 4. Now let's quickly go over the categories I'll be ranking the heroes on and what each entails. So with support units, the number one thing I will be considering is support effects, and so the top 4 categories will be offensive support, any type of support that increases damage, offers stats, or cripples the enemy stats. Special support, any type of support that helps your units proc their specials, lower special cooldowns, or effects that interfere with the opponent's specials. Defensive support, effects that decrease the damage an opponent can do, increase or decrease stats defensively, or effects that enable tanking or vantage strategies. Mobility support, any type of support that allows your heroes to be more mobile, such as Canto, Pathfinder, or Warping, and effects that can hinder opponent's movement, such as Stall or Canto Control. And the final category will actually be damage. Now this is a new category added this year, and the reason for that is supports in today's meta tend to combine roles. So being an effective damage dealer while also offering support is a big deal. This category is the least weighed when it comes to rankings, but that is something we have to consider. And the final thing before we begin, a good support does not need to excel in all types of support, they just need to be very powerful in one category in order to get a high ranking. With all that said, let's get started. As you can see, E and D tier mostly consist of older heroes who do not offer much when it comes to unique support, or the support they do offer is limited to harmonic or duo skills that can only be used once and aren't ridiculously powerful. C tier is where we have our first notable changes. The first thing to mention is the downshift of the extra action harmonic units such as Summer Sheeta and Harmonic Tiki. These units have really fallen off when it comes to their respective roles, so even though that harmonic skill can be quite powerful, it does not offer enough to make them worth bringing on a majority of teams. We also have Katie and Male Byleth at the top of C tier, who offers some nice stat support through a drive, but does not compete with the other ridiculously powerful supports we have received this year. In B tier we have quite a few new units as well as some notable supports. The first set of support we need to discuss are the healing supports. Healing supports became a big deal this year, and we got a lot of options such as Silk, Saline, and Legendary Guinevere. This support is invaluable for many tanks, but unfortunately these units were vastly outdone by a unit much higher on the tier list who offered healing and so much more. Another big change we had to discuss in the support meta is the prominence of special acceleration supports. We got a ton of new options such as Pledge and Flash Sparrow, making it easier than ever to get this effect. Because of that, a lot of special acceleration supports such as Na, Thor, and Brave Lucina have gone down in value. Na is definitely the best of this, but unfortunately she is a dragon, which keeps her from excelling in Gale Force teams. Thor on the other hand has lost a lot of her killing power, making her more difficult to use as well. Another group of supports that have fallen off in value is damage reduction supports. The amount of damage reduction piercing we have gotten this year is just stupid, and all that DR support is unfortunately pierceable, meaning that the value of it has just gone down consistently across the board. The final thing to discuss in B tier is a hero who plummeted from S rank all the way down to B tier, Bryltheorm. Bryltheorm's big claim to fame was isolation in Astra season, but thanks to a certain GOAT we will discuss later, that essentially isn't a thing anymore. So she's in a weird position where she is competing against Milla in Light season, who is just better thanks to being a mythic. A tier offers a lot of powerful and sometimes unique support. These heroes are very good in specific situations or strategies, but don't offer the flexibility higher ranked supports do. The first hero to discuss is Kvasir, one of our newest defense mythics. Kvasir helps to establish the Dark Cav line with her powerful warping support, as well as the ability to grant another action to allies with her PRF special. The biggest problem with Kvasir is that she is a defense mythic, to be honest, which means it's up to the AI to make good use of her powerful support. Speaking of mythics, another hero who has brought us some unique support is Godo. Godo offers powerful AoE damage reduction as a visible buff alongside defense and resistance. Godo started the year off as a powerful tank, but as time has gone on, nukes have gotten way too strong for him to handle, and also AoE specials have become less prominent with the likes of heroes like Lucia showing up. One of our new rearmed heroes who has proven to be a nuisance is Jinny. Her ability to cause flash on the nearest ally within 5 spaces and the rest of surrounding allies makes her into a great fit on Cav lines. She herself is a solid nuke, though her reliance on a guaranteed follow-up attack definitely holds her back. The biggest problem with Guinea is that if you don't have an ally within 5 spaces, that flash effect doesn't go off, so there is some counterplay that you can do if you know what you're doing. Now let's talk about one of the newest mechanics added to the game, Divine Feigns, which have proven to be a powerful support option added to the game. Brave Corn introduced the Stone Terrain, which grants defense, resistance, special damage reduction, and even AoE damage reduction. It's a very powerful effect. For me, the one thing that limits Corn's support capabilities is that she is a save armor, meaning she really only fits into teams where she can play that role, which makes her quite inflexible when it comes to varied strategies. Even so, she is one of our best far saves in the game at the moment, so she's definitely still in a good position. One of our first engaged characters added to the game, Alir has proven to be a powerful god sword, but what has made her stand out is her charge support that she can offer herself and her support partner. Charge allows units to become extremely mobile, including unit types that typically lack mobility, such as armors. It also allows for an extended threat range in game modes like Summer Duels. But once again, like Red Corn, Alir really wants to play that god sword role, which does hold back her versatility, and she only grants charge to one ally, which is a big limiting factor as well. The final units I want to discuss in A tier are the Ashes. Ashe was very highly ranked last year due to her insane warping support. Unfortunately for Ashe, Guidance Force stole her niche and in many ways made it better. The big thing that keeps Ashe relevant is that she is a mythic hero, while her New Year's version actually is a wonderful tank due to her ability to brave attack and circular kills. Ashe definitely still has a place in Light Season, but it is on the decline. The heroes in S tier can be some of the most powerful supports in the entire game, but they are typically limited by the amount of game modes or the amount of strategies they are good in. Let's start off at the bottom with Valentine's Leo. This unit is definitely being slept on. His ability to gravity 2 different lanes of units in one single turn is ridiculously good, especially against enemy cav lines. The only thing that has made his value go down is that warping has become such a big aspect of the game, which does mean that gravity isn't as powerful as it once was. One of our newest supports, Isadora, does her best legendary Eliwood impersonation by offering +6 attack, speed, defense, bonus doubler, and even foe penalty doubler to her allies. This allows Isadora to act as a wonderful support for an Omni tank in game modes like Aether Raids. The biggest downside for Isadora is that it does require an assist to be used to activate, and also play exists now, which can shut down bonus doubler. Warping has completely taken over the meta, and because of that, Legendary Myr's value has skyrocketed. While she still isn't the perfect support unit, just the ability to frontline and shut off warping has made her a great option in game modes like Summoner Duels and even in Arena. One of our new God Lances, Tamara offers a plethora of support that she uses extremely well. Her ability to pulse down deadly foes while also putting guard on them ensures that she can avoid lethal specials while securing kills with her empowered specials. Similar to what I've mentioned earlier, tanks tend to not be the best support units as they aren't as flexible as a nuke or a dancer, but even so, Tamara can work wonderfully. Arvel is now a year old, but even so they have proven to be a powerful anima mythic due to the combination of their powerful guard support and ridiculous firepower. Arvel's guard menace can make gale forcing difficult on an enemy team, and Arvel is very flexible when it comes to builds. They can offer additional support via cancel control, infantry pulse 4, or they can even run hardening bearing to shred through vantage units. Arvel is just a flexible unit who can fit into almost any defense, which is a big boon. Speaking of great defense units, Summer Shamir is a nightmare to deal with. She's one of the units who helped to usher back in the cav line meta. This is because she hits extremely hard, but most importantly, she offers some debilitating support via Panic and Discord. These 2 debuffs can completely cripple enemy tanks, making them easy kills for Shamir or her other cav friends. Speaking of cavs, another hero who has helped to usher back in the cav line is Duo Elise. Duo Elise was the healer who really showed off how powerful healers could be with their new updated tier 4 skills. Not only does she hit hard, but she also offers a plethora of disgusting support, such as flash, gravity, and even odd or even recovery to protect her allies. Elise can single-handedly shut down tanks who don't have NCD, which makes her extremely valuable in Aether Raid's defense. Flame Tana was one of the first units to introduce Kanto support, and when you combine that with a solid nuke with a massive attack boost and a harmonic skill that can refresh Sacred Stones and Heroes characters, you have a potent support unit who can allow for crazy plays in Aether Raid's offense or great openings in Summoner Duels. Milla was one of the original God tier mythics, and she has stood the test of time. Milla is still an amazing support unit due to her isolation debuff that can shut off dancers, rally traps, and all other kinds of nuisances. The best part is, she's not in Freyr's season, so she'll never run into her direct counter. This means Milla can continue to be an amazing mythic in tank or hit and run strategies, and won't be falling off anytime soon. One of the best refines and remixes last year definitely has to go to Yoon. She essentially went from unusable to a powerhouse debuffer. Yoon can globally debuff enemies and foes surrounding them and Panic, which means it becomes extremely difficult to stack buffs. Now unfortunately, Legendary Robin and Peony came along with their remixes and have created a way to counter Yoon's insane debuffing. But even so, she is a fantastic mythic who can fit into a lot of great defenses and really put in a lot of work. Our newest rearmed hero, Rearmed Lucina, has landed with quite a splash. Not only does she offer one of the best arcane weapons out there, but she also offers some ridiculous support via Future Sight. Future Sight offers all the valuable action economy and mobility support of Future Vision, but also offers a visible damage reduction buff as well as Treachery, which can grant units a massive 24 points of true damage. All of the support and Lucina's own fantastic combat prowess makes her a fantastic unit for Gale Force teams or even Cav lines in SD. When it comes to amazing refines, Brave Marianne easily won the best refine of this CYL batch. She got absolutely insane firepower, and when you combine that with her somewhat unique ability to dance without being a dancer, you have one of the best Gale Force supports in the entire game. Marianne works extremely well on any Gale Force team now. Best of all, she can get around Duo's hindrance, something that other double action dancers can't. Marianne also has become a stable nuke in SD, though that really isn't due to her supporting capability, but just her insane firepower. Speaking of SD, Katie and Lynn is one of those super unique support units that you forget about until a cancerous map drops in Summoner Duels and she just dominates it. Lynn offers no follow-up to all types of heroes, but what makes her stand out is her ability to grant units the ability to ignore difficult terrain, which is very powerful on Cav teams in particular. This can allow for extremely mobile Cav teams to completely destroy enemy teams while also cantering to safety. On top of all of that, Lynn is a great nuke, especially with AoE builds, which means she won't hold back your team either. One of the most crazy free-to-play units we've ever gotten, Arian has proven to be amazing. What can I say? He grants charge to flyers while still having his C slot available open for guidance or sorting guidance as well. This allows Arian to be one of the ultimate mobility supports in the entire game, especially when you consider how much more powerful melee flyers have become this year. When you combine that with some really solid bulk and some decent damage, you have a fantastic free-to-play support hero who fits into all kinds of different strategies. Mark has shown up and proven to be a powerful support in Summoner Duels. He offers a full package of support from stall to shut down those pesky mobile threats, to sabotage to deal with those annoying legendary Robins, and to capitalize on debuffs. And of course, Mark has a ridiculously powerful duo skill that can shut down pre-charged specials, apply guard, and even isolation, which can completely flip a game on its head. Mark is just a fantastic Summoner Duels hero, and definitely someone you don't want to underestimate. So if you thought Legendary Sigurd was a menace, well, here is a new, powerful version who fixes almost all of his weaknesses. First of all, T. Sigurd pre-charges his special every turn, meaning it's difficult to shut down. He's also ranged, meaning it's easier than ever to fit him on more teams. And while he doesn't have 4 movement, he is ranged, so he has the same threat range without being weak to stall. This unit is amazing on Aetherite's defense, and can even be used in Summoner Duels on the right teams. The Loria is one of the best support units ever made in Fire Emblem Heroes. She has been consistently top tier since her release all the way back in 2019. Her powerful support allows her to pre-charge specials for herself and her support partner, while also granting visible bonus stats and even the dull effect. This allows Valoria to be an all-star in all kinds of strategies and game modes, from Gale Force strats and Aether Raid's offense to raid boss support and Summoner Duels. This unit just won't die, and you should get used to seeing her. Our Book 8 Astra Mythic has arrived, and Ratatosker offers some really ridiculous support while also being a mobile threat. Ratatosker introduces our third new terrain, Divine Vein Green. This plant terrain completely shuts down warping and also inflicts guard on opponents. This lethal combination allows Ratatosker to shut down defenses that rely on warping, while also allowing for tanks to have more flexible builds thanks to the built-in guard. Ratatosker is also amazing for grabbing pots and positioning allies, which makes her very versatile, and she can also fit into Gale Force strategies with her special acceleration. Overall, she's an extremely versatile and great option for Astra Season. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Elamine was once considered one of the best, if not the best, support unit in the entire game. That was until the Goat Nation attacked and Elamine was cast down from her SSS Tier all the way down here. Now, Elamine can still be a ridiculously busted support, but that's only if her nemesis Freyr isn't on the enemy team. Freyr can completely shut down False Start and essentially transform Elamine into a better Flame, which isn't terrible, but definitely isn't anything to write home about. It is possible Elamine gets a redemption arc in the future with a possible remix, or if Freyr just decides to fall off for some insane reason, but we'll have to wait and see. Up next is another mythic hero, Sather, who is just completely slept on. I don't know if people have just forgotten, but Sather offers one of the most powerful support effects ever added to the game. She can end foes' turns. Obviously, there are some strict conditions for this effect, such as the resistance check, but with proper planning, Sather can completely shut down defense teams. Sather fits into all kinds of strategies, such as shutting down lethal enemies for tanking strats, turning off 3 units in Gale Force sweeps, or even stopping foes in their tracks during hit and run. The biggest problem with Sather is that she requires a planned out strategy and some thinking, which most Fae players don't really want to do. Legendary Aleer hit the game like a bazooka. Not only is this unit the best Omni tank in the game, but she also offers some of the most unique and powerful support in the game, damage reduction piercing. This support can be given to any of Aleer's support partners, meaning units who typically don't have access to DR piercing, like Cavs or Flyers, can get it too. While the support is ridiculous, there are a few drawbacks, such as it being limited to only 1 unit on your team, and also requiring Aleer to be alive to activate. Overall, Aleer's main role is definitely not a support unit, but even so, she offers some of the best support in the entire game, and this won't be the last time you'll be seeing this. Duo Dagger has taken a small hit since last year, but she is still one of the best support units in Summer Duels. Her Pathfinder Duo skill still offers insane mobility and power to her team, but of course Duo Thor's existence has kept her in check this year. Speaking of Dagger, Wind Dagger has arrived and offers a new form of Pathfinder support that even Thor can't completely shut down. Wind Dagger grants her support partner Pathfinder every turn, which not only drastically increases your team's mobility, but also means Thor can only shut it down for 1 turn before it pops back up. This gets even more degenerate when you consider Brave Crom, who can steal this visible buff, meaning you can have triple Pathfinder every turn. Wind Dagger is the unit who has revitalized the Cav Congo line in Summer Duels, and when you combine her with Lind, the team is near unstoppable. The final hero in S tier is a hero who doesn't need much introduction, Winter Bernadetta. There isn't much to say. Bernie allows her Vantage and Gale Force strategies to be consistent in Aether Raid's offense, which is massive, and the support alone makes her a top tier support. Double S tier is full of support heroes who are either top tier in several game modes, or they work the meta in their respective game mode. These heroes are meta defining and must be considered when building teams. Let's start off with one of the biggest meta shifters in Aether Raid's defense, Emblem. Emblem was our answer to the dominance of saves in Aether Raids. While it did take a while for her to take over the season, the resurgence of Cav lines has made Emblem one of the best defense mythics in the game. Her ability to not only turn off saves, but also apply feud to units makes her one of the most disgusting debuffers in the entire game. The combination of these 2 effects can make tanking extremely dangerous, as not only are the foe's support units vulnerable, but also feud can turn off a ridiculous amount of vital support effects. The day we get a bustable Emblem ult is the day saves die forever. We can't talk about Emblem without talking about Asker. Asker has proven to be one of the most versatile and valuable light mythics in the game. This is due to the various support effects that he grants while also being a fantastic unit. Open Domain grants himself and his allies cooldown reduction, resonance shields, and resonance blades. This allows Asker to support almost every strategy in Aether Raid's offense. He's fantastic for pulsing down Gale Forcers, and is a wonderful Gale Forcer himself. Resonance shields and blades allows him to grant powerful stat bonuses to tanks, and they can even help charge specials like Godlike Reflexes or Vital Astra. And finally, Asker is a wall of a frontliner, allowing him to block off enemies with his Bulwark skill. Brave Soren offers one of the most unique and powerful supports in the game. He transforms an ally into his save unit. Assign Decoy allows you to create ridiculous strategies and transform scary non-armored tanks into save units. Not only that, but Soren also grants them +6 to all stats, and is a wonderful nuke with a ton of firepower due to his brave attack and anti-guard. Soren is wonderful in Summer Duels and can also work in Aether Raid's defense, where he can transform Freyr into an even bigger annoyance. Soren's one downside is that nukes have become so powerful that not many units can tank the meta, so you really need to be particular with who you choose to assign Decoy to. Metis is one of the mythics that define this season. On Guard is easily one of the most powerful effects in Aether Raids, and the reason is simply due to the existence of Bolt Tower. Bolt Tower can single-handedly destroy any defense, but Metis' existence allows for low threat range teams like Catchery Balls, and considering that Catchery Balls have been the meta defense for literal years, it shows just how important Metis has been. One day we will get a bustable On Guard, and when we do, the Bolt Tower clan will finally meet its demise. Garrick got one of the best refines of the year. He went from a hero with literally nothing going for him to one of the best cooldown supports in Fae. Garrick's weapon grants special cooldown to all units on his team as long as he meets the HP check, which is big as it allows for the charging of all kinds of big specials like AoEs or even Miracle. On top of that, Garrick can even run Infantry +4, which can allow him to be one of the best Gale Force supports in the entire game, as he can reduce the cooldown of Gale Force by 2 for almost the entire team, including himself. And that's not even where it ends. Garrick grants visible bonuses, no panic, and even penalty neutralization, which makes Garrick an absolutely great support for Omni tanks and Aether Raids or raid bosses in summoner duels. Garrick is easily one of the most versatile supports in the game and got one of the best refines of the year. Next up is the bonus doubler kings Legendary Eliwood and Young Eliwood. Both of these units are absolutely ridiculous supports due to their ability to give bonus doubler and no panic globally alongside a visible +6 attack, speed, and defense buff. The best part of this support is that it also doesn't require any action, meaning that this support can be up all the time, which is just insanely good. When it comes to the difference between the two, Legendary Eliwood is the better support because he also offers Kanto 1 and is a win legendary, which means he gives out that legendary buff. But even so, Young Eliwood is blessable, which means he can be used in any season. Unfortunately, Ploy does now exist, which means that there is a direct counter to Eliwood, but even so, he's one of the best supports in the game easily. Up next is Spring Bernie. There isn't much to say here as well. She is the same as Winter Bernadette in that she can enable Gale Force and Vantage, but you do get a much better nuke alongside the support, which is why I overall will rank her higher. Heather, oh Heather, the girl who just didn't want to come home. This unit introduced one of the most powerful support skills in the game at the moment, Ruse 4. But she's also one of the best users of Ruse 4 while also offering no follow-up support and exposure. This makes Heather an absolutely ridiculous support unit in Aether's offense, as she can shut down Catria while also helping your unit secure kills, while also granting no follow-up to any movement type. When you combine that with a very competent nuke, you get a fantastic hero that just keeps on giving. Speaking of amazing Ruse 4 users, Aether is one of the best Astra Mythics in the game. Her Gold Serpent assist skill allows her to grant an ally and herself up to +8 attack and speed, Dual Strike, Kanto 1, Treachery, and inflict -4 to all stats on foes and guard on them, while also granting herself another action. This support alone allows Aether to be amazing alongside Omni-Tank strats as well as Gale Force strats. But when you add Ruse 4 into the mix, you get one of the most powerful offensive supports in the game, where she can literally shut down a majority of threats on the enemy team. She can also be fantastic in summon duels as her preference to assist also helps with action economy, and she herself can be a solid nuke. This unit just has it all, and with proper investment, she's a monster. Winter Cordelia, or should I say Brile Catria's Echo Fighter, is an extremely powerful support that offers a different version of triangle attack with Dual Strike, mobility via the formations buff, and even a powerful harmonic skill that can grant treachery. When you combine this with the ridiculous mobility support of Guidance 4 and Soaring Guidance, you have one of the most ridiculous units in the game. The problem with Cordelia, and the reason she isn't in SSS Tier, is that Dual Strike is notably worse in most situations. The necessity to have a unit adjacent to activate is a big detriment in summoner duels. Cordelia is best used on an Awakening or Fate summoner duels team, or on a Gale Force team in either its offense. Ymir was a fantastic miracle support added last year, but Duo Ymir takes it to a whole new level with her powerful duo skill that can cleanse penalties, heals 20 HP, and is even reusable. When you combine that with a Drive Miracle and a powerful bulky nuke, you get a unit built to destroy in summoner duels. Ymir has fantastic firepower, especially when combined with Triangle Attack, and while offering that, she can also add an additional layer of protection for your far saves. Ymir's other major role is when she is combined with Brave Soren, where she can become a far save and be extremely annoying to deal with. Overall, Duo Ymir is a massive upgrade over to her base self and has proven to be a nuisance. Speaking of duos, Duo Asker is one of, if not the most powerful cooldown support unit in the entire game. Asker teams up with Emblem and can offer up to -2 special cooldown to all his allies while also buffing all of them and granting resonance shields and blades. The same thing is he can reuse his skill multiple times as well. Duo Asker was the unit who ushered in the AoE meta that swept through the game earlier this year. Not only that, but Duo Asker is a nuke that can pack a punch thanks to Special Spiral 4, and also can take a hit due to his flat damage reduction. Duo Asker is the full package and has proven to be a powerhouse in the meta. It's time for Gatekeeper's redemption arc. It is well known that I am not a Gatekeeper enjoyer, but even so, Gatekeeper has skyrocketed in value since its refine. Gatekeeper can now offer +5 to all stats, healing after combat, while still offering anti-warp and super extract from a very far range. While this sounds amazing by itself, what really makes this insanely powerful is the nature of the meta itself. The introduction of Guidance 4 has shifted the whole meta to warping, and Gatekeeper is a direct counter to this. This makes Gatekeeper a fantastic support unit in Aether's offense and defense, where he can shut down any team relying on warping, from Flyer Lines to Elgar warping in with Assault Troop. When it comes to summoner duels, I personally don't find him to be the best unit as he lacks firepower, but even so, he can act as a powerful counter to teams that over-rely on warping. I don't even know if anything needs to be said, but Duo Kramer remains one of the best support heroes in the entire game while still being a great nuke. To Change Fate is easily one of the most powerful skills ever created in Fire Emblem Heroes, and when you combine that with cooldown reduction support, you get a versatile support unit who fits into every strategy and essentially every game mode. Action economy support is absolutely massive in SD, and Chrome's only real competition there is himself and his daughter. The other thing that has allowed Chrome to continue his dominance is the introduction of powerful skills that allow him to continue to nuke hard, such as Physical No Follow-Up and Tempo 4. If Legendary Chrom is a sign of Duo Chrom's future, he won't be falling off anytime soon. The final hero in Double S tier is the one and only Duo Thor. Duo Thor is easily the best unit in Summoner Duels, and she has been since her introduction. Her duo skill alone allows her to counter almost any strategy in the meta and continues to get stronger as more skill bonuses are added to the game. When you combine that with her stall and exposure support, you get a unit whose value is ridiculously high. But that's not all. Thor also got a lot of new toys to play with this year, including Guidance 4, Soaring Guidance, and even the new ploy skills she uses extremely well. This makes Thor into arguably the most powerful debuffer unit in the game, with extreme build versatility. With all that said, Thor is mostly locked to Summoner Duels, and because of that, she will reign as the queen of Double S tier. We have finally reached the final tier, Triple S tier. This tier is not in a particular order, as all of these units could be considered the best support unit in the game, depending on the game mode and strategy being used. With that said, some of these units are definitely on the decline and may not be in this tier next year. Let's start off with one of the most unique supports in the entire game, Citrine. Citrine is one of the units I expect to age the best in all of Fire Emblem Heroes. The reason for that is simple. Almost any visible bonus she has on herself, she can share with her friends. This means Citrine can easily grant her friends Special Acceleration, Formations buffs, Bonus Doubler, No Follow, Canto, Charge, and so much more. Faye has been moving towards more visible bonus effects throughout this whole year, which means Citrine will only get more powerful with every new bonus added to the game. This allows Citrine to be an all-star in Aetheryte's defense and Summoner Duels, as she not only shares some of the most powerful effects in the game, but she's very competent in Nuke with her ability to pre-charge her special and true damage. Overall, Citrine will only be getting better from here, so make sure to keep an eye on her. Speaking of Engage, next up is our first Engage mythic, Veil. Veil offers Scout support, which can allow her to shut down enemy specials. And on top of that, she also grants Resonance Shields, Resonance Blades, Attack and Resistance +4, and 30% damage reduction. Veil is just the full package, and is one of the best supports for tanks in the game. The best part is that her Scout support is based off her own resistance, making it very reliable. Veil is also a fantastic nuke and can pack quite the punch. Veil is proven to be amazing in Aetheryte's offense and Summoner Duels as well, and I don't think that will be changing anytime soon, considering how many nukes are relying on specials to secure kills. It's time. Freyr is the worst unit ever added to Fire Emblem Heroes. If you don't know, I hate this unit. Freyr is just ridiculously overtuned, stupid hero who turns off half the game in Anima Season. Dream Deliverer, his preference C skill, neutralizes all penalties on both phases, grants visible bonuses to defense and resistance, and even resonance shields. Freyr essentially turns off a majority of debuffs while also protecting his allies' buffs, meaning he can give his allies a major stat advantage. Notably, he hard counters Element's false start and isolation from Battle Fjord, which means all kinds of pulse effects are guaranteed to activate, and he enables all kinds of degenerate defense strategies such as dance traps, rally traps, and more. Until Ruse 4 came out, he also allowed Catria balls to once again dominate Anima Season, and on top of all that, Freyr is a ridiculous melee unit with insane bulk, guard, and damage reduction. And with some help from Brave Soren, he can even act as a near save unit. Overall, Freyr is a disgusting overcorrection with zero counterplay. Speaking of heroes who warp the meta, up next is the one and only Legendary Robin. Robin's claim to fame is Grand Strategy, which is essentially an Omni-Unity effect. Now a lot of people don't understand, but essentially stacking Unity effects allow for ridiculous amounts of stats, like plus 70 or more to a stat on a unit. Essentially, Robin turned every unit into a massive stat ball, while also making stat penalties a good thing. In a sense, he removed stat debuffs from the game, as they were a major liability in every game mode. On top of that, he made Panic a positive status, as it could allow you to activate Unity again. You combine that with a competent nuke and a versatile build, and you get the best support unit in the game. And Robin easily would have been the best support unit in the game if Ploy 4 was introduced that can act as a direct counter to Grand Strategy. Combining that with the rise of the Sabotage status effect, and Robin has been knocked down a few pegs. Even so, Legendary Robin is one of the best supports in the entire game in every game mode. He is definitely a support unit you do not want to be sleeping on. One of the other major effects in the rise of this year was Miracle. This was partially due to how easy it became to charge with units like Duo Asker, but also due to heroes like Duo Ymir who gave it as a drive effect. But the number one Miracle support is by far Fallen Maria. This unit is just absolutely disgustingly powerful. Fallen Maria not only grants Miracle, but its improved version from Legendary Fae that not only protects the unit from dying, but heals 99 HP. She also grants +4 to all stats as well, because why not? Maria quickly became one of the most powerful supports in the game and started showing up everywhere. This unit is an excellent Ether Raid's offense with Vantage units, Omni tanks, and even save balls. In summoner duels, she can make it impossible to kill your far save, or even allow you to protect your nukes, so you can make aggressive plays. In Ether Raid's defense, she can protect your units, ensuring they survive in all kinds of situations. This unit is honestly just ridiculous. Now fortunately for us, there is some counterplay in the form of feud effects, such as the colorless feud skill, but even so, Maria has proven to be a ridiculous support, and that's without even considering her solid ability to nuke. Intelligence Systems almost got me. They almost added a new support unit right after I released my tier list. But fortunately this time, I saw through their deception and waited. Legendary Camilla is our newest legendary, and one of the most broken units to grace the game. Not only is she an over-the-top ridiculous nuke, but she also offers a unique and extremely dangerous support in the form of damage reduction halving bonus to her allies within 2 spaces and herself. This alone allows Camilla to make any nuke on her team more deadly, but also opens the doors to new nukes who didn't have access to damage reduction piercing before. If that wasn't enough though, Camilla also inflicts speed and resistance -7 to the nearest foe globally and the sabotage status, which really makes those debuffs hurt. But that's not it. Camilla also introduces a Divine Bane in the form of Haze, which cancels out foes' visible stat bonuses and inflicts -5 to all stats. You combine all this crazy support with a god tier nuke and the possibility to use guidance or soaring guidance builds, and you easily have one of the most powerful units in the game. I feel very comfortable putting Camilla straight into SSS tier, and I would not be surprised if she warps the meta all around her. Up next is the legend herself, and in my opinion, the best unit ever added to Fire Emblem Heroes, Bridal Katria. Now I probably don't need to explain to you why Katria is so good, but she grants Triangle Attack, the best offensive support in the game, while also granting mobility through the Formations buff. But the thing is, Katria got a massive buff this year, thanks to Guidance 4, Soaring Guidance, and even Guard Bearing 4. Katria went from being the best offensive support to the best mobility support in the game. She had dominated summer duels the entire year. She dominated Ether Raid's defense the entire year. She was even good on Ether Raid's offense. This unit is the best support unit ever made, but all good things must come to an end. Unfortunately, it does seem like Katria is on the decline. This is partially due to Ruse 4 introducing a status effect known as Schism that disables Triangle Attack, and also the introduction of more powerful damage reduction that works against Brave attacks. Even so, Katria is still one of the best support units in the entire game and will continue to be so until Schism is introduced in a more powerful way, which I think is only a matter of time. Until then, Katria will reign as the queen of supports. While Katria was a universally powerful support for all movement types, Hinoka was the unit who made flyers absolutely ridiculous. The combination of Guidance 4, Guard Bearing 4, and Hinoka has made the meta shift towards flyers in a powerful way. This is because Hinoka can grant charge to all flyers within 2 spaces, while also granting special acceleration and even some stat support. When you combine that with a very powerful nuke, you get one of the most deadly mobile units in the game. Flyer lines have shown up in Ether Raid's defense, summoner duels, and even hit and run versions have shown up in Ether Raid's offense. Flyers have taken over the meta, and a large part of that is due to Hinoka. Robin sure had one hell of a year. It wasn't enough to get one meta warping ult, why not a second one? Brave Robin has proven to be one of the most ridiculous supports in the game. Rally Spectrum grants allies +5 to all stats, and most notably a special jump effect, which can allow all types of units to accelerate into big specials, while also getting around things like guard. This effect has quickly proven to be extremely powerful, and also works well with new meta skills like Gambit that relies on bigger cooldown specials. Robin combines this ridiculous support with explosive firepower and warping, which has allowed him to become one of the best supports in Ether Raid's offense, summoner duels, and even in some cases, Ether Raid's defense. The final hero to discuss is one of my favorites, and it is just stupidly good. Legendary Alencia is a hero who is proven to be only getting better with time. First of all, Alencia can grant full no follow-up as a visible buff to all movement type allies. She can offer a stat debuff on all enemies within 4 spaces, but here's where it gets crazy, she has Guidance 5. That's right, you thought Guidance 4 was broken? Well, Guidance 5 is here to offer warping to all movement types. This allows Valencia to be extremely flexible as she can fit into any team comp, while still offering all of her amazing support. On the other hand, Valencia is a ridiculously busted nuke. She can easily quad enemies and proc specials reliably thanks to her built-in anti-guard. She also has ridiculous mobility thanks to her aerial maneuvers, giving her warping to herself, and Canto 2 allowing her to position as well even after combat. The final thing that makes Valencia really stand out is her build versatility. You can go all in on damage with Flared Sparrow and No Quarter, or you can even let Valencia do her best Altina impression with a Miracle, Prime 4, and Gambit 4 build that allows her to act as a hard check to the enemy team. All of this combined makes Valencia one of the most deadly supports in the entire game. And with that, my ultimate support tier list is complete. All 169 support heroes ranked from SSS to E. I would love to hear your opinions in the comment section down below. Which units do you agree with, and which units do you think deserve to be ranked higher? Also, I'd love to know who is your favorite support. As always, I'd like to thank all my members for their constant support. This video was a massive undertaking, so if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. This has been Oblivion, I'll catch you all later.